Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak. And of course, I want to say Shalom to Yakminakwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson, and once again with another edition of a Compendium of Christian Madness. And I'm kind of knocking out a couple here. Now, the last one that I did, which was yesterday, I basically took out a sticky note and started writing some stuff down. And I had some things on threads that I have saved. And I kind of, as I was looking through them, like, they're really all kind of tied in together. So I have 3 topics that are pretty much one and the same. They all go together, right? God is all love. Okay, that's the first one. 2, he loves sinners but hates the sin, right? Because he's all love, right? He's all love. He loves the sinners, he hates the sin. And then also that with that, they'll also say a lot. Only God can judge me. Only God can judge me, right? So we're gonna knock out those today. In this one, let me make sure the screen doesn't go off. And I actually have some threads that you can see up to the right there. I got them streaming to the channel or to the video. All right, so you can see. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and turn on do not disturb. All right, so no texts come through while I'm going and rolling through this. So where are we gonna start? Okay, I guess we'll start with reading this a little bit, right? Because we have I think it's just primarily this one. I've had some other saves, and again, this is not a subject we've not talked about. All right, but like I do when I make these videos, sometimes I like to throw together these compendiums. Okay, for a while, we've in the past I've talked about milk lessons, done a lot of milk lessons, but for a while I was doing that series. I can't remember what it was. It was basically all milk lessons. We've talked about the NWO, right, time and time again, but I threw together this mini-series, the Stepping Stones of the New World Order. Why? Because it's good for new believers and even people that have been in the truth for a while, just to go and get some refresher and have them in one, wrapped up and packaged and, wrapped with a bow box, right? They can go there. It's not, they don't have to search bit by bit. If you want to know what there is to know about, at least, what I know, because I'm still learning in this truth like we all are. And the apostles are the one with, and they're even still learning. They're the ones with the that higher degree of education than all of us, because they've been in here 50 plus years, 30 plus years, 50 plus years, 30 plus years. But yeah, so I'll give you what I got for it, right? And I'm, like I said, I'm not the most learned individual on the planet Earth, right? I'm definitely not anywhere close to being like the apostles, all right, as most of us aren't. But again, there's always going to be people that have their focus and things that they're better at. So I'm going to go into this again, not saying that I'm not the best one to break it down. There's always people out there that could do so better, I'm sure. All right, I'm not going to have that level of pride. I can do it the best. I'm sure I am 100% positive, all right, that I cannot. But we're going to get it anyway and throw it in this nice little package, Compendium of Christian Madness. And this is going to be I need to change that. This is part 3. Glad I caught that. Okay, so we have part 1, part 2, part 3, and today I'll be making up part 4. And again, I'm not sure what we're necessarily going to call it. It could be maybe rebuking the idea of God is all love. That could be a good title, so maybe we'll go with that. But so let's get into it. All right, so on the right side here, all right, over here on the threads, you see this post and it says, any LGBTQ Christians here, you're seen, you're validated. Again, this is not something we've never heard before. We've heard it before. We've talked about it before. We've rebuked it before. All right. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we all have several lessons on this. But here it is in one good place. So it's what's funny to me is, so this is like it's a contradiction. Okay, this is a contradiction. It's like saying, hey, are there any meat-eating vegans here? Right? Hey, how you doing? I'm just looking for some women-hating lesbians. Right? Oh, go to Home Depot, and I'm looking for some plant-hating gardeners out here. So it's just ridiculous. I'm looking for some technology-loving Amish, right? I'm looking for some technology-loving Amish, some meat-eating, some meat-loving vegans. No, man, it's ridiculous. That's an LGBTQ Christian, all right? Because again, Christians were first called, first called Christian at Antioch. So the Christians we're really the true Christians, all right? We don't refer to ourselves as that because the name Christian has been tampered with, and we wouldn't use the term Christian. It would be Hamashiachium, all right? Technically is how it would be. But again, these are the people that are calling, and they don't know anything, all right? We went into that yesterday. This whole series is about how Christians don't know anything, and the whole religion is just contradicting in itself. So any LGBTQ Christians here, you're seen, you're validated. Well, what does it mean to validate first someone? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean to validate someone? Okay, because this is a core, all right, of what we're talking about today. To validate someone means to recognize, accept, and acknowledge their feelings as understandable and logical. Now it says it does not mean that you agree with them or think they are right. Rather, it shows that you're listening and you respect their perspective and care about their emotional experience. No, okay? When you say someone's valid, you're at least, okay, acknowledging that what they're doing is not wrong, okay? Now it says it does not mean that you agree with them. Well, you're showing some semblance of an agreement, right? You are definitely showing some semblance of agreement. You're saying, I agree that what you are thinking is logical. I agree that what you believe is understandable, okay? I agree, okay, that, I care about what you think. No, you shouldn't be like that, okay? You shouldn't be like that, all right? You're not supposed to be agreeing with or even acknowledging, really, other than from a rebuke, these people that are teaching other things, right? Mark them. This is Romans 6:17 through 18. If someone's doing something wrong, you tell them that they're doing wrong, and then you avoid them. That's it. You tell them that they're doing wrong, and you avoid them. But these, I don't know, there's an infatuation with the Christian church and the alphabet people, right? And a lot of it stems from they want to be able to fix everybody, and you can't, all right? That's the problem with the Christian church, is that they think that the Christian, well, not just Christian, they think that the Bible's for everybody, and the Bible's not for everybody, okay? It's not for everybody. It's really only for the Israelites, and even amongst the Israelites, the Bible is really only for the men that are teaching and preaching this word, okay? Absolutely, all right? That comes from the apostles right there, all right? Because who else is gonna get it? All right, if you're not teaching, preaching, you're not gonna be able to read it. You're not gonna be able to get it. All right, a woman can't open a Bible and understand it and be able to grasp the knowledge like a teacher would. And somebody a man that doesn't have any understanding of the Bible, he can't open it and get it either. All right, it's specifically for the prophets to teach those. All right, so they can understand and get it. All right. So it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. So if they're saying, oh, everybody's included, well, you got to get marked, and you have to. Why? Because that's an offense contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned. And where do we learn it? From the Bible. Okay? All throughout the Bible, it talks about not doing these things, and the Christians do these things. And then when you say, hey, don't do those things, they say, oh, only God can judge me. God doesn't hate. He's all love. Okay, God loves the sinners. He hates the sin. And that's all bullshit. Okay? But that's what they've come up with in their mind. Okay? And it's really because they don't want to be marked. They don't want to be rebuked. They don't want to be reproved. Okay? They don't want to be put on the pedestal and viewed as wrong or sinful. All right, you can't judge me. Well, yeah, we can. All right, but we have to judge righteous judgment. We have to do it accordingly as to how Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai. And that, in case you're new around here, Yahweh is the true name of the Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. All right, and Ba Hashem means in the name of. All right, because you can't reach the Father but through the Son. And they're two separate entities, by the way. They're not the same individual. Okay, that's another thing that Christians get wrong. Not all of them. Some divisions of Christians. There's a lot of Christians out there that say no, they're different. Then there's a lot of Christians that say no, they're the same person. So there, also let there be no divisions amongst you, right? Let there be no divisions amongst you. Let's go and get that. Let there be no divisions amongst you. Not division in general, but amongst you. Amongst what? The people that are calling themselves in this truth. Okay? 1 Corinthians 10:17, it says, now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing. You should be, all right? It's in the Bible. You should all be speaking the same thing. The problem is that there's men out here, all right, and women that try to teach. I was going to say teach, but I say try to teach because they're doing it for filthy lucre's sake, right? They're doing it for money. They're doing it because they want to build up some fame. They want to be seen. They want to be Instagram famous or TikTok famous or YouTube famous, and they want to get that, that money rolling in. They want to monetize their videos and have an ad at the beginning. Thank you. This is Squaresoft. If you get Squaresoft or NordVPN, when I go abroad, I use NordVPN. NordVPN is always the best, blah, 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 blah. And then they do the thing. Or they'll stop what they're doing halfway in and they'll have a sponsor. That's what they want to do. They want to be those people, right? So, and they'll try to blend it in with the Bible, though. They're like, I got these wonderful Sharpie highlighters. There's no better Sharpie than highlighter. All right? There's no better highlighter than Sharpie, right? And I use them for my Bible. It's sponsorships, right? The only person we need to sponsor us is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, we don't need no fucking worldly business sponsorship. Now let's go into find sponsor since I got it. Sponsor. Meaning, what does it mean to sponsor? A sponsor is an individual or organization that supports a person, event, or activity financially or through advocacy, all right, to advocate for us. And we're hoping Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai advocates for us and that we, make it, all right, as the Bakarium, all right, the elect, right? And that's in Hebrew, okay? So, it says such as advertising and yada 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 yada. So that's who we need to sponsor us. All right. A confirmation. Okay. One who assumes responsibility for someone or something. A person who plans or carries out a project. Right here. It says a person who represents a candidate for baptism or confirmation and undertakes responsibility for the person's religious education or spiritual warfare. Really, it's a patron, a supporter. All right, the only supporter we need, we only need the support of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, we don't need the support of all these different individuals that disagree with us and all these things. But again, Christians got to get it where they can get it, and these people that are trying to turn the truth into a monetary thing, they got to get where they they got to have that fucking QR code in the right side of their video. You know who I'm talking about. So we don't need all that, okay? And with that also, that means we can talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, right? We're not going to be held back to say, oh, we said this and we're going to lose a sponsorship. We're going to lose our video is going to get demonetized. We don't give a singular fuck, man. We don't give a flying fuck, okay? We don't care, okay? We care about glorifying ourselves unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, okay? That's another scripture right there, all right? Justify yourselves before men. And a lot of that got the end. A lot of this comes back from that, all right? Wanting the alphabet soup crew in and wanting this group in and allowing this people in and this people and that people and allowing women to teach in the church. Again, because if they don't do those things, they're going to be viewed as hateful like we are, bigoted like we are, all right? Evil or wicked like we are. What else are we called? Grapists, all right? All these different bywords that you put on us, man. You don't want that, all right? You don't want your name to have, you want to be worldly, all right? You want the people of the world to like what you have to say. You don't want them to think that you're hateful or bigoted or, you care too much about what the world thinks, all right? And that's a lot of people. There's a lot of people even in this truth that care too much what the world thinks. Fuck what the world thinks, man. They don't know what the fuck's going on. These people don't know their fucking assholes from their goddamn elbows. And you care? You think we care what they think? We don't give a flying fuck what you think, man. We don't give a shit. Luke 16:15, King James Version, it says, and he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but Yahweh knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of Yahweh. So all these different things that you're trying to condone, feminism, that's an abomination in the sight of Yahweh. Homosexuality, that's an abomination in the sight of Yahweh. Pride, that's an abomination in the sight of Yahweh. Right? All these different fucking things. Women trying to be on top, well, feminism, same thing, right? That's an abomination to the Lord. But you're trying to validate those people that are, you're trying to validate and sponsor those people or be sponsored by those people or be accepted or accept those people. Because this is like, for you, this is the ministry of acceptance. Everybody comes around, they get it. It doesn't matter if, you can say Jesus or Yahweh or Yeshua or Buddha or Allah, or you can call him whatever you want. And you can think that he's white. You can think that he's green. You can think that he's Asian. You can think that he's this. Can't think that he's black, though. That would be a problem. All right. And you can, that he's all love and he's he's just, he's all love, and he only hates the sin. He doesn't hate the sinner. He loves all, and he's the only one that can judge me. You can't tell me anything. You're being hateful. You're coming against all this different shit, man. And that's because they're justifying themselves before men. Okay, they don't want to be viewed as hateful. They don't want to be, have their name thrown down like they throw our name down and drag it through the mud. All right, those that primarily GMS. All right, I'm not in GMS, but that's who I follow after through Yahweh Shem Yahushai and teach in the like manner of, which is the correct way to teach the Bible, mind you. When the GMS style Bible teaching, that's just teaching the Bible. That's not specific. It is specific to GMS primarily. You see other people such as myself doing it, but it's not GMS style Bible teaching. Really, it's the correct Bible style. All right, but we just say GMS style Bible teaching because they're the only ones that are primarily doing it. IUIC ain't doing it. ISUPK ain't doing it. All right, every once in a while they'll do something in that style the right way, but a lot of the time they're doing it the wrong way. Okay, and you can't have a ministry of 99 truths and one lie. Okay, that's not going to work. Okay, because that one lie throws everything off. But again, these are people, same thing with IUIC. They're like that Christian. They're Christian in understanding as well, because they justify themselves before men. Okay, they don't want to be looked at as about bums. They want to have the fancy garments, right? They want to have all this, the thrones and all these different things and the fancy production, right? They're justifying themselves before men. That's what they're doing. Okay, that's what they're doing, and we're not with that. Okay, we're not with that, and the Lord's not with that. Okay, it says, but Yahweh knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of Yahweh. And these people are trying to bring things in that they, that are esteemed among men. They're, all these open and, being loving and all these different, but all that stuff is abomination in the sight of Yahweh. Okay, we're not supposed to be communicating and having communications and talking and hanging out with, and we understand that we have certain family members that might be a little fruity, and that's a little bit different because, they're going to come around, you're going to see them or whatnot. But having these people around you that are just like, trying to, oh no, they're not. Those family members that we have some family members, all right? Some of us might have family members that are homosexual, or a lot of us, almost all of us have family members that are Christian or involved in some other religion, or they're doing, but, again, it's a little bit different because they're family, but we're not gonna, fully, how do I explain it? It's not like with people out, just regular people, you can fully separate from, they're your family, so you're kind of, you can not talk to them, but if you go to a function or something like that, they're probably going to be there, probably going to say them, hey, how you doing? They're going to want a hug or a handshake and talk and shit like that. We understand that. That's a little bit different than just purposely going and throwing yourselves around these people, because again, they're family. They're wrong. Again, you can't justify these people. These people are not valid just because they're family. You can't condone what they're doing. Okay, and again, that's a type, so like you whacked a mic, that's the type of situation that ultimately is going to cause issues in the family. All right, they're going to say, oh, why aren't you celebrating this holiday? Why didn't you call me for Father's Day? Why didn't you, why didn't you send me a picture of some fireworks blowing up on 4th of July? I got you a gift for Christmas. Why didn't you get me one? Auntie so-and-so's birthday is coming up, and why you didn't wish her a happy birthday or something? And if they're either gonna have an issue with it at the full scale, or at the very least, they're not going to fully understand it. Like, my mom still contacts me and say, oh, did you want to call your grandma for her birthday? And wish her? I said, I've told you time and time again, I didn't say it like that, but I'm like, I don't celebrate that shit. But, I will give her a call and say, hey, how are you doing? But it's not going to be specifically because of her birthday. I'll just call her and see what's up, and, talk to her and make sure she's doing all good and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go there, happy birthday, Grant. No, because I don't celebrate that shit, and I shouldn't be forced to celebrate that shit, right? That's the thing. A lot of our family members don't know boundaries, all right? And we can't justify them. We can't say, oh, it's just, they're doing that and they're fine and justify it. No. See, what they're doing is esteemed, again, amongst men, but it's abomination in the sight of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And some of these people in the church, and they say, oh, we'll celebrate our birthday. Well, why are you fucking celebrating a birthday? All right, birthdays were first a Greco-Roman celebration in the first fucking place, okay? And the cakes are shaped round because they're representative of a moon goddess, okay? Why? Why would you celebrate that? Why would you do it? If you're a Christian and you worship Yahweh Shem Yahushai, why are you going to light candles on a cake? And that's a form of, I'm not doing it for that. I don't give a fuck. All right. I can go down, bow down before a fucking statue of Lucifer, Baal, or fucking whatever. And I'm not doing it for that reason though. I'm doing it for another reason. Sure, I offered up the corpse of a child, but I didn't do it to worship him. No, man, you did it because you did it. All right. What you did doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter what and I've heard so many fucking jakes. Well, I don't see, I celebrate Christmas with the family. I don't do it, for all that, the worship of the white Jesus and shit. And I know it goes back to Saturnalia, but that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it for a different reason. You're doing it for a fucked up reason still, Jake. You're still doing it for a fucked up reason. But again, you're trying to justify yourself before men. You want to know why? Because if mama says, oh, why are you doing that, baby? You shouldn't be doing that. Your uncle just wanted you to, come over for, he wanted to celebrate 4th of July with you. Well, fuck what he wants. At the end of the day, I'm not justifying myself before Uncle Bill. All right. I'm not justifying myself I'm not even justifying myself before my parents. I'm justifying myself before Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay. That's who I'm justifying myself for, all right? Or at least making an attempt to, okay? Because all these things that aunties and uncles and cousins and sisters and brothers and all, they don't know what the fuck's going on. I've said it in my lesson before. I said, look, you love your parents, but your parents are a bunch of fucking morons primarily, right? And again, I can't necessarily say that about my parents, but what I'm saying I can say about your parents, right? Is what I mean by that is that if they're not in the truth, they're a moron. They're a moron, all right? They don't know what the fuck's going on. They're wicked. Your parents and your family, most of them, some of us have parents and family in this truth, so that, of course, they're not wicked morons. But if they're not in this truth, which 99% of our family members are not, then they're wicked morons, all right? Your grandmama, oh, she's sweet. She's been in the church for 30 years. She's a moron. She don't know what's going on, okay? She has no idea what's about to go down. She has no idea what's about to go down. Well, my mama, she's a good person. Her best friend's a homosexual, all right? And she says that he's a nice man and God would never kill him. She don't know what the fuck's going on. She's a moron, okay? She's a moron, okay? All these people, they're morons. You got to realize that 99% of these people out here, 99.9% of these people are fucking morons. They don't know the truth. They don't know Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. They don't know the name. They don't know he's coming back, all right? They don't know. And again, these people are fucking selfish in the world, man. They're selfish. Well, I want to celebrate my birthday. You don't deserve to be worshipped. You don't deserve a fucking day. You don't deserve a day. What have you done? What are your accolades? What are your accomplishments? What the fuck have you done to deserve a goddamn day? I know I don't deserve a day. What makes you think you deserve a fucking day to be worshipped and celebrated on? All right, everybody fucking brings it. You ain't a goddamn king. All right, everybody bring up gifts. Bring up gifts to the king. Well, you ain't a fucking king. You don't rule shit. You don't do shit. You don't know shit. All right, you don't know nothing. You don't do nothing. You're not worthy of being worshipped. All right, the only one worthy of worship is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That's it. Okay, that's it. Even the angels themselves denied being worshipped. All right, this is when it was attempted, they said, get up. All right, don't do this to me. All right, you worship the Lord, not me. And those are the angels, man. So what makes you, if that's the angels, all right, what the fuck makes you think you need to be worshipped and fell down upon? Well, I ain't saying fall down upon. Yeah, that's what you want, right? That's what you want, all right? Because the fucking main emotion of this world is fucking pride, all right? All these people are pride. You try to tell them, hey, what you're doing is wrong. They get upset. Why? Because they're pride. You're hurting their pride. All right, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear that because they're a homosexual, because they're proud. All right, they even have a festival that's based on it called Pride. All right, because they're filled with fucking pride. All right, you see someone out there doing some wickedness, you say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. They get upset. Why? Because of pride. These women out here doing abortions and shit, you say, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Or the man paying for the abortions, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. All right, you need to have that child. All right, you went and blew off in her. Now guess what? You have to suffer the repercussions, and you got to take care of that kid and be a father of that child. Right? Oh no. How bad? Too sad. All right, you have to do that. All right, but again, I don't have to do shit because again, this world is filled with, they're up their own fucking assholes, man. All right, they bent over backwards and crawled up their own asshole and are so fucking deep they can fucking speak out their throat. All right, they're fucking damn near turned inside out. Because they're up their own asses, man. They think that, oh, I know what's right. I know what I could do. I know what's wrong. You can't judge me. You can't tell me nothing. You can't correct me. You can't do this. I can do this. I can celebrate my birthday. I know God is dealing with me. I know the Christian church. And you don't know shit, man. And it's because, again, like I get the scripture all the time because that's the sediment of the world, all right? Many are deceived by their own vain opinions, all right? And that comes from pride. They think they know better. These people out here, they think they know better, okay? There are people actually out in the world that think that wisdom comes from age. All right. Well, don't talk to, grandma, she's smart. She has age. She don't know nothing. Okay. She don't know how to fix a car. She don't know anything about Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. She don't know how to do a TV. She don't know how to do nothing. What does she know? All right. How to sew. Right. Where's all that rest of the wisdom? All right. What about the 20-year-old? We'll keep it within the gender. All right. You said grandma. What about the 20-year-old woman that has way more information than her? All right. Is she not more wise? All right. Wisdom does not come from age. It comes from experience. experience, all right, and through Yahweh Shem Shai, primarily. That real wisdom comes from Yahweh Shem Shai. But worldly wisdom, it comes from experience. Okay? It comes from experience through Yahweh Shem Shai. Still, everything's of Yahweh Shem Shai. It doesn't, you aren't old all of a sudden, here it is, you hit 60 and now the secrets of the world are unlocked unto you. You say, oh, I was just sitting there one day in my rocking chair, and all of a sudden the Lord revealed every single secret unto me, and I didn't have to do nothing. I didn't know anything until I hit 60, and then it unlocked to me. No, that's not how wisdom works. But in the world, they say, oh, wisdom comes with age. No, it don't. Wisdom only comes with age because you have more experience. Well, you should have more experience the older you get. There's some old people that didn't learn nothing. They didn't do shit. They sat on their ass. They never learned. They watched TV. They rotted away, and they don't know nothing. So how are they wise? They're not wise. Okay, and these are all the things in the world, and these are the people you're esteeming yourself to, trying to justify yourself, esteeming. These are the people you're justifying yourself for, grandmom and them, right? Because you care what they think. They say, oh baby, you know that the name you said Yeshua way, or I don't know what the name was, baby, but you need to come back to Jesus. Jesus is the way. He's the life. He's the truth. You got to come back to him. Got to come back to him, baby. You can't be doing that. Yeshua, whatever that name was, can't be doing that. Jesus hasn't failed you in 23 years of your life. You need to come back, baby. You need to come back to the church. Do you think she fucking knows anything? She doesn't fucking know a goddamn thing. All right, she doesn't even know that she's gonna be destroyed for that. All right, but you're justifying yourself for, I don't want to offend my grandmama, I don't really want to, hurt her feelings, because I'm just going to go along with it and celebrate Christmas with her because we don't want to hurt grandmama's feelings. So you're going to die because grandmama's feeling will get hurt. Okay, think about this shit, man. Think about this shit. You don't want to call out that person for being a homosexual because you don't want their feelings to get hurt, because if their feeling gets hurt, now you got to have a conversation with your dad. Hey, did you call, did Raekwon say something about being gay, and then you told him he's got to get out there if he wants to be saved, because that ain't right, man. That ain't right. You need to go back and apologize and tell him that God does love him and that God ain't going to kill him. No, fuck that, man. Fuck it. All right? No. Hell no. Nope. Look, I ain't gonna do it. Well, you need to go and do it. Look, if you keep doing this, I ain't gonna talk to you no more, man. All right? Not man. You gotta be respectful as much as you can with your parents, but if they're gonna be like that, sometimes you just gotta separate, man. You gotta separate, because if they're gonna have you, again, you're supposed to be honoring your parents, and they're doing all that where you're having all these thoughts against them. You're gonna have to separate if your parents are wicked as hell like that. You're just gonna have to separate and say, look, man, I can't do it anymore. All right? No, I can't do it anymore. If you want to change, that's fine, but until then, I can't have any contact with you. Sorry, I love you. I do love you, but I just can't. All right, I just can't. I focus on my stuff and my truth, and you won't respect, all right, the religion I got going on, all right, and how I'm trying to serve the Lord. Then I can't be around you, man. I just can't. Sorry, love you, but I can't be around you. All right, and click. That's it. That's just it. So it's just one of those things but people are so up. Family members and friends and people of the world's ass that they don't want no conflict. They don't want to have people thinking that, they were kind of rude, they were kind of rude. They were kind of an asshole. They were kind of mean. We don't care if you think we're assholes. We don't care if you think we're mean. We don't care if you think we're rude. The only thing that we care about is that we're teaching and preaching Yahweh Shem Shai's word correctly. Right? So ran over. All right? That's what you need to know for that. So any LGBTQ Christians here? Yeah, any fucking meat-eating vegans in the chat? Any meat-eating vegans in the chat? Anybody? Any women-hating lesbians? Right? Fucking stupid, man. And you shouldn't validate these people. But you want to validate these people. You want to validate grandma and them, because you don't want them to think you want to justify yourselves before men, because if they call you mean, oh no, they call me mean. Their opinion doesn't matter. Their opinion doesn't matter. Yahweh Shem Shai's opinion matter. But everybody in the world, they wants to go along to get along. They want to go along to get along. And as the apostles now just say, that go along, get along spirit's going to get a lot of you motherfuckers killed, man. Because you wanted to go along with it. Let's not hurt no feelings. Let's not offend nobody. All right, let's just let everybody do what they do. And, God loves them too. God loves me, right? And you're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be doing that. Again, going back into what you should be doing. Again, Romans 16:17, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. How do you mark someone? You put it on them. You say, hey, man, this guy's going off. All right, of course, you can't really do that to your parents like that. It's, at the end of the day, they're not going to learn anyway, man. They're not going to learn anyway. But you can lightly correct your parents, but not to that level. You say, hey, I saw you saying the term. Did you know, Dad, that actually the term is actually the father's name is actually Yahweh, and the son's name is Yahweh Shai? I'll show you how to do it. And if they don't get it, They don't get it. Just don't even try. Just avoid them after that. All right. You don't have to do it like how you would a rando. Like, you motherfucker, you can't do that to your parents. But you can do it to a rando, right? Or someone who's not your parents. All right. You don't have to, again, you should probably, be a little circumspect with how you do it. But again, other people that, not kin, or they're your cousins, fuck your cousin, man. Right? They're being, hey man, I'm gonna keep doing that. Hey man, Lord's gonna mess you up for that. All right, but all right then. All right. Okay. You can just be circumspect with it at the end of the day. So it says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Why? Why should we avoid them? All right. If they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, we say, hey, first, the first thing we do is we warn someone, and they get twice. All right. They get it twice. Okay. After the first and second admonishment, they get it twice. All right. And technically, a lot of the people that have come around the truth, they come on the comment board, they've been correct. We're more lenient. Sometimes you get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corrections, right? But biblically, you only get 2. Okay. You only get 2. If someone gets it, they don't get it the first time, you give it to them one more time. They don't get it the second time, leave them away. All right. Leave them alone. All right. Leave them well enough alone. Just don't even, that's it, because they're not going to get it. So let me show you right here. Let me move this out the way so I can click it. Right here. A man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition, reject. Okay, we can go and get it in these other 3 right here. New Living Translation. Make sure this doesn't time out. It says, if people are causing divisions amongst you, give a first and second warning. Hey, for pork, all right? Hey, I saw that you were eating some pepperoni pizza. Is that turkey pepperoni? What type of pepperoni? Oh, it's pork pepperoni. Oh, hey, okay, all right, that's fine. Did you know that biblically we weren't supposed to be eating that? And I know a lot of the Christians say that, that everything was clean. But if I show you these scriptures right here, it shows you that you shouldn't be doing. Oh, okay. Hey, man, I didn't know. All right, hey, that's fine. You didn't know. That's right, right? See him again, a couple weeks or a month later. Here it is. Hey, how you doing? This is actually a real situation that happened. Really, if you really want to get it, not verbatim, but it happened with the Elder Menatazatbad down there in South Carolina. He saw this guy kept on always fucking showing up with pepperoni pizzas, right? And I think someone told him one time, I order the pepperoni pizza and I take the pepperonis off it. Why wouldn't you just order the cheese, Jake? So you want the pork sauce on it, right? You did that shit on purpose, and that's basically what the elder said. But so you warn him again. You say, hey, I told you last time. I thought you got it. Oh yeah, I understand. That's fine. All right. And if you see him again with a pork sauce pizza again or a pork pizza, you don't correct him. You already corrected him once. You already corrected him twice. That's it. You don't get a 3 strike. There ain't no 3 strike system here. All right. Not with the correction. You get 2. All right. So, but again, you say, oh, well, you're not being lenient. Well, the scriptures tell us that we only have to correct you twice. Okay. A lot of time we're correcting you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Okay. So we've been more than lenient, but you still call us assholes. All right. You still call us hateful. Meanwhile, we've been more than lenient. We've been more lenient than what the Lord would have us be. Okay. Because he said, he gave a specific, warn them twice. Okay. That's all you need to do. That's what we need. All we need is twice, not once, but twice. We're being more lenient than we were instructed to really be at the end of the day. Okay, we're not going off by doing it. I'm just saying that this is the baseline. 2 warnings. The Lord said two warnings. All right, that's it. 2 warnings. That's it. 2. So, but again, I'll explain it again. Talk in circles. I'll talk in circles. A lot of time we give you more than 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? But we're still evil. We're still assholes. All right? We're still, whatever the fuck you want to call us, right? But again, New Living Translation, if people are causing divisions among you, again, how do we know it's a division? A division of what? Doctrine. Division. They're saying, I can do this. You say, that's not what the scripture says. Listen, I don't care what that says. I can do it. Well, boom, done. Okay? It says, if people are causing divisions among you, give a first and second warning. After that, have nothing more to do with them. Have nothing more to do with them. All right? Your cousin Raekwon, he's being a fucking asshole over and over again. You warn him, hey, man, I don't really want to talk about it. Well, I'm going to talk about it, man, because you in that Hebrew Israelite shit, man. Hey, man, I don't want to talk about it. You shouldn't be talking like that. The Lord's going to mess you up for talking like that. I don't care if... Hey, man, I already told him that. Raekwon need to go. All right? Cut that motherfucker off. Block his number. Don't even talk to his ass no more. All right, and don't if your mom and daddy go, hey, Raekwon, said you yes, I cut him off, all right, because he was being an asshole, right? Well, you don't have to say it like that, because he wasn't respecting what I'm involved in, but he's wanting me to respect what he's in. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get myself destroyed by the Lord so I can go and be down what he's in and validate him. I'm not going to do it. Well, you should. I'm not going to do it. Love you, Daddy, but I'm not doing it. Sorry. All right? That's it. All right? You got to stick to your guns, man. All right? Honoring your parents doesn't mean, they say, you need to stop following you. How about you, meow, shine, and fall after Jesus? Okay, I'm going to honor you, Mama. I'm going to do it. That's not what it means. Okay? You can still put a foot down and say, I can't do that. I love you, Mama, but I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay? I can't do it. Okay, I honor you. I respect you. Thank you for giving me, birth to me. All right, and for you, Dad, I came out you pretty much, right? Through this, they say, oh, you come out your mom, really? Came out your dad's nutsack first. All right, and then you birthed from your mom. So really, you're of your dad's seed, not your mom's. So you're of your dad, not your mom. But yeah, I respect y'all, but I can't be involved in that, and I hope you can respect that. All right? Well, I can't respect that. All right then. All right. Don't cuss at them. Don't curse at them. All right. At them. All right. At them is different than to them. Cursing to is different than cursing at. Cursing to, all right, I was actually explaining this earlier. Cursing at someone is, hey, you motherfucker. Cursing to someone is, hey, do you see that motherfucker down the street? You're not cursing at them. You're cursing to them in the same conversation. All right. That's a little bit different. Some people, can't use that harsh language with their parents. My parents don't give a shit. I'm like, oh yeah. How's things, man? All right. Fucking job market's all fucked up and crazy, but, I'm fucking making it. So, that's it. All right, but some people don't have that. But again, so warn people twice. After that, have nothing more to do with them. Okay? NRSV, it says, after a first and second admonition, have nothing more to do with anyone who causes divisions. Okay? Contrary to the doctrine which we have learned. That's the division. Okay, contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, mark them and avoid them, right? Contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned. Okay, right here, Romans 16:17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. Let me get 18 while I'm here, because I didn't get it. For they that are such serve not our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. It's really dealing with these false teachers, right? And a lot of our family members are all ingrained with these false teachers. So they're simple, all right? And simple is a older word, a nicer word really for a moron, all right? The ignorant, the stupid, all right? The spiritually retarded, okay? That's what it's dealing with, okay? So you're not supposed to be having no dealings with these people. Again, it's like I said, it's different when it's your mom and your dad, all right, and some family members. But if the family, other than your mom and dad, all right, you don't have to honor your sister or your brother, all right. If they're going crazy, then that's it, man. All right, your uncle Day Day and your cousin Raekwon, no, man. If they're going crazy, look, your mother and father have special things, all right. They have special. Not permissions, because again, they shouldn't be doing that anyway, but again, you should try to reconcile with them as much as possible, and other than your differences, try to get around them to the best of your ability and get to a base point where, like, hey, look, maybe we don't talk about religion or anything like that. I'll just talk to you. You can tell me how the kids are doing. You can tell me, what you've been up to lately, and I'll tell you what I'm up to lately, but maybe we shouldn't talk about any of the other stuff, no politics, no religion, stuff like that. Set some guidelines, set some boundaries, man. All right? And try to be reconciled with them as best as if possible, because there's some of our parents that it's not going to be possible. Some are druggies or crazy and they don't want to have none of that, but most of our parents are not like that. All right, that's more of a specific situation. So Amplified Bible, it says, this is Titus 3:10, it says, after a first and second warning, reject a divisive man or woman, right, who promotes heresy and causes dissension. Ban him from your fellowship. If they're around you in this truth, ban him from your fellowship and have nothing more to do with them. So write him off, and then that's it. You're done. All right, you're cut off. So don't sponsor him, right? Don't validate him, right? Going into all that, and hell, that's already a lesson within a lesson right there. We're already 40 minutes in, and I haven't even barely talked about the rest. But hell, I might just leave that as, this might be a whole part. At 40 minutes, I might just leave it at this, man. Because that's well contained. I didn't even know it was going to go here. I thought it was going to be, it's kind of about what we talked about, but I didn't get none of the scriptures I had written down, right? I ended up going, it was all through the Holy Spirit, just getting other scriptures. So this one's going to be something along the lines of, condoning wickedness, which I guess is basically going to be what we're talking about in the next one as well. I'll get one more. I'll get one more scripture and I'll close it out. I'll leave that up because I want to do that tomorrow. Let's get we've gotten this one all the time. We get this all the time, but we're going to get it again because, again, we've been on this kick with using these 4 Bible translations. So I'm going to close out of this because, hold up, let me pause because it's going to pop up a bunch of information. Hold up. All right, we're back. Oops. Come on now. So yeah, we gotten this one a lot, but we're going to get it again. It says Proverbs 17 and 15. So really, this was another lesson about going along to get along, and it needed to get out. So Proverbs 17 and 15, and I know some people that need it. So Proverbs 17 and 15, it says, He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they are both abomination of the Lord. And this is going to be a good segue into tomorrow's lesson as well, Lord willing, I'm alive and well to make it. Because again, you can't justify those that are doing wickedly, okay? And you can't condemn those that are actually doing right. But that's a lot of the situation with our family members and these people out in the world and these Christians. They want to justify loud ass music. Good music. Got all this stupid, smoking cigarettes and weed shit, but it's worldly shit. It's got good music. Good background music. But these people out in the world, these Christians, man, what they'll do is they'll just try to, they'll condemn the people that are teaching rightly, us, all right, prophets, and then they'll justify the wicked. Well, no, just because they're gay doesn't mean that the Lord's going to kill them. Well, he pretty much verbatim said that. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But again, it's the same thing with your parents. They try to do the same thing as well. They justify the wicked. They say, it's not wicked to celebrate Christmas. Okay, why are you acting like? Why'd you get like this all of a sudden? You were never like this when you were young. You got into all that Hebrew Israelite shit, and now you just kind of lost your mind. That's how they talk, right? That's how they talk. You done lost your mind. You done lost it. All right. And I don't know what happened. I don't know who started hanging around. But you grew up in the church, baby. You grew up in the church, and all of a sudden you don't want nothing to do with the church. You don't want nothing with Jesus. You need to accept Jesus back in your life. This is why you want all this, right? They're justifying the wicked. All right. They're gonna say, Raekwon and them. He's a good child. He's a good boy. But you always want controversy. You always wanting this. You just can't celebrate your birthday. No one can say, don't send me no birthday present. It's always gonna be like that. It's always going to be like that because, again, they're morons, all right? And they go according to Proverbs 17 and 15, all right? Justifying the wicked and condemning the just. They're condemning you because you're right in what you believe in, and they're justifying the wicked. They say, Raekwon's fine. Raekwon sells dope, mama. All right? That's what happens, all right? He sells dope. Well, no, he does. No, he does. He does. All right? You have a lot of parents that are like that, all right? Oh, he's a good child. He sells dope, all right? He's selling fucking crack, all right, over on 5th Street. He sells fucking dope. He's not a good kid. He totes guns. He's gangbanging. He rolls with the goddamn Crips, mama. He ain't good. He ain't a good fucking kid, all right? Well, don't you say that about your brother. He's trying to what, go to prison? God damn, all right? So these are the type of people that a lot of us have as family members, unfortunately. All right, and you got to deal with that, and that's something we got to go through. But know that they're going to justify the wicked, and they're going to condemn you. They're going to talk all sorts of shit about you. They're going to say that you're doing things that you're not doing. Oh, he's over here doing this and this. I remember one specific testimony by Elder Manata Zatba. His family members were saying that he was carrying a cross up and down the road. Now that's a damn lie. All right, but they'll say those, this is the type of shit that they do behind our backs. They talk shit and they do all those things. So it's just one of those situations where you can't try to help everybody. All right, and this is for the family and the Christians. All right, you can't try to help everybody. Not everybody's gonna get it. Okay, you can't just justify everybody. You can't justify the wicked. They're wicked. They are wicked. It says, and he that condemneth the just. So by justifying the wicked, all right, and condemning the just, what happens here? It says, he that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination of the Lord. So by doing that, you've come just as bad. You become just as bad as a sinner. All right, I'm not gay. My son is, and you saying that he's wicked and the Lord's going to get him. You're wrong. You're evil for that. Nope. Well, guess what? Now you're just as guilty as him. You're an abomination. All right, you're in just the same offense here. You're not taking it up the ass, but you spiritually might as well be, because you're saying that it's not a bad thing to be doing it. Okay, so you're condemning it. You're condoning it. All right, you're justifying that sinner and his wickedness. All right, and meanwhile, the people that are condemning, all right, that and saying, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, the Lord's going to get you for that. Here's the scripture. You say you're wrong for that. Well, now you're condemning the just. The Lord's going to get you for that. Okay. Proverbs 17:15, a New Living Translation, says, acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, both are detestable to the Lord. NRSV, one who justifies the wicked and one who condemns the righteous are both alike, an abomination to the Lord. So alike, what does it mean alike? Just the same. Basically just the same. You're similar. You're basically similar, damn near the same person, right? They're so alike. That means they're very similar to one another. Okay. So, Amplified Bible. Again, you're not literally taking something up your ass, but you spiritually might as well be. Why? Because you're in agreement with it. Okay. You're saying it's not wrong when it is wrong. So what's stopping you really from doing it? Well, I'm just not involved in it. But if you were, it wouldn't be wrong, right? Well, yeah, it wouldn't be wrong. So you're basically homosexual. Got it. Proverbs 17:15. He that justifies the wicked and he that condemns the righteous are both repulsive to the Lord. You repulse, all right? Disgusted, all right? The Lord is disgusted by you. You are abomination. You are repulsive to him, all right? Vile unto him. That's why it's not for everybody, okay? God is not all love, all right? He's hate too, all right? He has hate, all right? He views things as abomination, all right? He detests certain individuals, all right? He does hate sinners, okay? And yes, his prophets that he sends out, yes, they can most certainly judge, okay? Can most certainly judge. But you don't want it because, again, like I said earlier, you're proud. It touches your pride. It hurts you. It hurts your feelings. You don't want to hear it, all right? You don't want to hear that you're wrong in something because now, I've been wrong my whole life. You're still wrong, all right? You've been wrong since you're a baby, and you've been wrong since you're old. Congratulations. And people don't want to hear it because it hurts their pride. It hurts their feelings. Well, again, hey, fuck your feelings. It's about what Yahweh Shem Shai wants. Not how you feel, not what you think, not what you look, not what you smell, not what you touch, nothing. It's about what Yahweh Shem Shai wants, what's justified unto him, what's right unto him, and that's it. Point blank, period, man. If you don't like that, well, hey, too bad, so sad. And that's how it is, man. So that's where I close out. Again, it's going to be something along the lines of condoning wickedness or, justifying the wicked. Something. Spirit will come to me, Lord willing, and I'll put together a title for it. But that's the lesson. I'm sure it's put right around 50-minute mark now. Almost, 47. So that's where we're going to close out. Lord willing, it was edifying. All right, Lord willing, someone needed to hear it. All right, but again, like I said, I want to make it exponentially clear. All right, when you try to handle it the best way possible. Okay, when you're dealing with your family members, especially if it's your mom and dad, because you got to honor them, man. So try to, say it the best way possible. There's certain things that they're just not going to like to hear. All right, and it might cause an argument, but don't argue with them. All right, don't need to be arguing with your parents. Say, hey, look, this is what I do. I hope you respect it, all right, and I'll respect you. Just maybe we shouldn't talk about, religion or these different things that are causing these differences in us, because again, if it's your cousin, I would just, me personally, I'm not going to give you no advice. Me personally, I would just be like, man, don't even talk to me anymore, because your parent, they're not your parents. Your parents are a little bit different, all right? Your parents are a little bit different, but your parents, you got to honor them, and a lot of time, your grandparents, you want to keep them around as well, but cousins and brothers and uncles and shit, I wouldn't, stretch yourself out over that. But that's just my opinion. So, again, just pray and ask for guidance from Yahweh Shem Shai on how to deal with it the best, and he'll give it to you, all right? If any of you lack wisdom, all right, let them ask Yahweh Shem Shai, roughly paraphrasing. That's scripture right there. So, there you go. That's where we're going to close out. Lord willing was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wadash. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring. Keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Till next one, Lord willing. Shalom.